All right, so first up, this is the Holden Commodore Group A SV. So it's a 1988 Holden. This was built by Holden at the formation of the HSV Mark, which is Holden Special Vehicles. And it was intended to compete with the BMW M Series and the Mercedes AMG Series at that time in the touring cars. It did okay. At that point, 3 really was dominant, so I think getting any wins under its belt in that space is to be commended, and it did manage to win a few races, so it's a pretty good car, all things considered. It was nicknamed the Plastic Pig, due to the fact that, again, this is the late 80s and cars weren't really made out of carbon fiber yet. So you kind of, if you wanted to go for a lightweight body, you could either have plastic or maybe carbon fiber. And this was mostly made out of plastic. So it was nicknamed the Plastic Pig. And I like to think that that's probably a very affectionate nickname rather than a mean one.
Yeah, I think there was another name for it as well. There was probably less mean, which was the Walkie, which was nicknamed after the main designer, Tom Walkinson. I'm pretty sure Walkie is that's definitely named after him, not the Plastic Pig, for sure.
Yeah, and it was actually, as much as it's very much an Australian car, Australian engine, this body kit was actually designed in the UK, just a few miles from where I'm stood right now at Playground Games. So a real perfect car to slot into Forza Horizon 4.
Definitely.
Shall we queue up the next one? Oh, go on, Dave. Sorry. Yeah.
So if you complete the Holden Your Horses seasonal event in autumn, this car will be yours. But yeah, so make sure you check that out. Let's move on to the next car. So this is the HSV GTS 2011. Really cool car. Got 436 brake horsepower, a 6.2 litre V8, 0 to 60 in just under 5 seconds at 4.9. So this was built using the 4th generation Commodore, and it's kind of known as the E Series 3 HSV. There's a really awesome and kind of simple Aussie nature about this. Really simple chassis, but a bucket load of power. It's really, really, really cool. And this car was actually replaced by the Generation F GTS, which we've got in our game. So if you want to check out the difference, see which one you prefer, make sure you go to the Down Under Seasonal Championship in summer to unlock this car. Have a little play with that, and then get your hands on the Generation F GTS as well, and see which one you prefer.
Cool.
Between this,
I think one of the fun things about this car, at least where it sits in this update, is that this is actually just a normal production car that you could go and buy, and yet it has greater horsepower, higher top speed, higher acceleration than the other 2 cars, which are both actual track race cars. Yeah, another cute thing about this car is that it was actually weirdly released in the UK. Under the Vauxhall badge, it was released as the VXR8, which is pretty unusual. We get very, very few V8 cars released over here, and just to take a look at it, it is nothing like any car that you would usually see on a British road. But it's super cool nonetheless. There is actually one I see driving around Leamington now and then, which again is super weird because this is not a car that you would expect to see driving around in the UK. And here we go. So this one is the 1996 HSV GTSR. Only available in yellow, or should I say yellow, as that was the name that the Aussies decided to give this particular paint. That's yellow with an AH instead of an OW. 85 of these were built, and this was actually mid-90s, so this was after the requirement that a certain amount had to be made of any touring car before it could be entered into the Touring Car Championship. So they made these really because I guess they thought it would be fun. It's basically a race car, very little changes versus the track-going version of it. And like I say, only 85 were built. Almost all of them sold to Australians in Australia, and 9 of them went to New Zealand, and 1 of them found its way to the UK. I wish I had an end of that, which I said I knew where it was, but I don't. I imagine it's in some collector's garage somewhere in the UK.
I love that. There's one very rare car in the UK, but because this is Horizon, you can all get your hands on one, and you can get this by getting